fell in love, now she doing all my drugs, young baby in the club, like little mama in my eyesight. She go home with me tonight, cause we connect like Wi-Fi, yeah, I'm on the table.
Hey guys, welcome back to the video. So today in this video we're going to be talking about the HP Proliant DL380. So this is a server. It was deployed. It is now out of commission. So it was really easy to pick this up off eBay. I got this whole entire server and everything in it, besides of the few extra stuff I'll be showing you in a second. I got it all for about $90 plus tax. It does not come with rails, and then it comes with a couple extra goodies I'm gonna tell you about. This part right here, there was the drive cage bay, or the graphics card bay, for expansion and all that, and I will show you that in the video, but for the purposes I was using it, I had to take it out. Currently, it is rocking Windows 10 Server. It's been deployed for my use in my home lab for a good while now, and it's just been working really well. So now on to the specs of this HP Proliant. So this is the HP Proliant DL380, as I said. It uses the slim form factor SAS drives, but you can also use SATA ones. So here's one of the outputs for a video, but I didn't use it because I had a graphics card. You got two USBs on here, and it's got two dual Xeons. Up here is the array of lights to tell you what's all going on. Here's the drive bays I have. I currently have this drive right here, and an SSD. It's a 256 gig Samsung SSD. Very high quality, works very well. But in this one right here, it's a 320 gig HDD. So it's not amazing, but it does do the job. It's mainly for just storing video files and anything else I need to store on it temporarily. And this model came with a DVD drive. Right here is just its ventilation. And then it also came with a bunch of these spacers. I also have one more. So they're just spacers. You can't put hard drives in them. But I am planning to mod at least 2 of these, or even 3 of these, to try to fit hard drives in. So if you want to see that, just let me know. Currently I got this one held up with a deck of cards until I do mod something or buy the cage, which I looked them up. They are only about $5 with tax and shipping. There's that little logo, that HP Proliant DL380 G7. Here would be for rails, but currently I don't have any. It's not on a server rack, but that's the server. It also supports 12 gigs of RAM and 2 Xeons. They're 6 cores each for a total of 12 cores. So right here I'm just going about showing what the system's like. So again, with the specs, it's a total of 12 gigs of RAM and then 12 cores, 24 threads. I'm also showing off my micro SD card that I have in there. It's a 64 gig SanDisk one. And there is my CPUs. And I'm going to take out the power supply. I got really lucky with these. When I got the power supply, it was actually a 750 watt unit. They also came with 460s, and my friend, he got 460s. He ended up having to go back and ask for 750s, even though they were supposed to come with 750s. So the 750 variant was a much more powerful variant. And I was also lucky enough to get 2. A lot of these, for the 1 CPUs, they only got 1. But since I have 2 CPUs, it makes sense. And now I'm just going over how the panel that goes on, how it just shows off what to do everything. So how to configure the SAS drives, the RAM, the RAID controller, and all that. And my RAID controller, speaking of, it's 256 megabytes, and it works very well. And the software, although a little bit harder to access for a newbie, it still works well. And that was my battery. So that battery just keeps the RAID controller, make sure it's all good and everything. And now let's show you one of the CPUs. So here is just one of the 6-core 12-threaded Xeons, and that's the socket. Their thermal paste job was actually a very decent job. I don't have to replace it. I probably most likely will with something a little bit more higher quality, like for example, like Cryonaut if I want to go that crazy. So now I'm just gonna put the CPU's little panel back on. So as you can see, we also got our huge fan arrays. All those are hot swappable. So if your fans do go out since they're running a lot, you can easily buy them. They're only $5. And that is the server. If you have any questions about it or anything, just leave a question in the comments and I'll make sure I get to you. So this is the side panel on. So as you can see, it goes on. It's pretty simple to go on. That little black latch is lockable, and to do it, you just press the button and it'll slide right off. And that's the inside. And that's where I got my PCIe riser for my graphics card coming out. And that's putting the server all back together. So this is the extras portion of what I use my server for. So I do have my own router for it. It is a basic Netgear router, nothing special. It does have integrated Wi-Fi, which I do have the server Wi-Fi on this enabled on this router. And I have it set as a wireless AP in the settings. And I just mainly use it just to power the Ethernet ports and all that. And it works great. I can also connect directly to the server over the Wi-Fi if I'm connected to that on my phone or another computer, and I don't have to be direct connected, which allows me to hide this. But eventually I want to add a 1 gigabit or even 10 gigabit network switch for server racks. And once I get my rack, that's also on my list. So that is definitely something I want. But right now this router just powers the server and all that, so I'm pretty happy with it. Now this is my GPU. It is the Sapphire R9 390. It's a very powerful GPU. This thing, it's not top of the line right now, but back in its day, it was very top of the line. It's got 8 gigs of VRAM, and it's featuring just loads and loads of performance. It can have up to 5 displays, but currently I only use it for 1 display. Now, it is a beefier card. It's got a huge heatsink, and it even got a backplate, but with that beefiness, it also brings a beefy power supply requirement. It's very hard to see, but right here is 2 8-pins. Right here. It's very hard to see, but those are the 2 8-pins and all that. And it's a very beefy powerhouse, which is why I have to have an external power supply, which this is my power supply. So this is a Rosewell Photon 1200, 80 plus gold. So this will not go out. I had to make sure I had good efficiency on this. I'd love to go higher, such as a platinum, but this was just cutting edge, and it's just what I had on hand. All my other stuff was just 80 plus bronze. But this needs to be efficient because the other 2 power supplies, since they're redundant, I can just switch them out really easy. This I cannot. This has to be on 24/7 along with the server. So with this efficiency, it keeps its graphics card efficient, and it keeps this lasting for a very, very long time. This is a very important part of the server because I use software which I need this graphics card for. But I'm not ever using the graphics card a whole bunch unless I'm using that special software, and it's only for remoting in. So I'm not worried about this sipping a bunch of power and ruining power costs with the server. So it only has its 24 pin, which I need to tell the power supply that's on. We are using the method of just using a wire, and we have it plugged into these 2 pins. This will just keep the power supply active, so once that's plugged in, and then this is plugged into the wall, this will instantly turn on, instantly give power, and then these are our 2 8-pins. It's a 6 plus 2 pin right here and right here. And I do have an extra right here because I was planning on putting 2 GPUs in for cryptocurrency mining, but I'm not sure if I'm still going to do that, but I can do that if I really wanted to. And then here's one of the most important parts as well. So since the server, I want to be very remote with it, I don't want to have to always go to the server. I want to access it from anywhere. This little guy right here will act as a monitor, which I do need. So it's USB to HDMI. So you can also use this for OBS recording. So for example, if I want to plug this into the graphics card and then plug this into OBS, I can record whatever outputs from here to here straight into the computer. But currently I just have this plugged into the server and this connected to the graphics card, and it'll act as a monitor, which I can just remote in because I'm using Parsec, which I'm going to get right into that in a moment. Welcome, and now I got the server all set up, I got the GPU all in, I got the power supply connected. It's normally much quieter. It's probably something to do with me moving it all in the BIOS because I got high performance mode on. Okay, so that is the boot into the server. So now I got everything loading up. It's got Steam because the software I was using, I was testing for latency for remoting in because I wanted to make sure the latency here to there was very, very minimal. So I installed a game to test that. So I got Steam up, but I'm going to optimize this a little bit better. I'm still working on some of the server. And then I got the server manager for Windows. So right now I'm just recording pure data off of the server. I'm not using any remote in software. I'm not using the ILO port on the server. This is just raw capture off the server via that capture card that I showed you guys. I'm also have Parsec running in, so you are getting the pure raw video results. I'm pulling it straight from that capture card that I showed you guys that I use as a monitor. But that's also how I use Parsec. So a little deep dive into Parsec. Parsec uses your graphics card. It encodes the video and it sends it to a live feed onto the other end. So currently I'm on my desktop, which is a Mac, and I'm just remoting into Parsec. It's very, very nice, and I can access this from anywhere. And even on lower speeds, I'm still offered a great low latency experience. And if I go here, I can tell you guys the numbers. I know you won't be able to see any. Decode is about average of 3 milliseconds, and then the encode is 13 milliseconds, and the network is 0.52 milliseconds. This is also at 1080p, but the capture card only goes up to 1080p, so I can only get 1080p out. Whatever, if you decide to do something like this, you have to have a monitor connected to whatever Parsec, because Parsec will mirror that monitor. So if you have a 720p monitor connected, you can only stream 720p, and it will not go higher. So a little deep dive into the server. So as I said, it was rocking the 12 cores total and 24 threads, but its base speed is 2.67. It's the X5650s, but I got it on high performance mode everywhere, so it's a constant 2.92. I got virtualization enabled, and here's our cores, 12 cores, 24 threads with our 2 sockets. This is the amount of L3 cache. We get 24 megabytes of that. That's a very good amount. And here is my 12 gigs of RAM. Only 6 out of 18 of the slots, which is pretty good. But for $90, I'm not complaining. And then the speed is 1333, which is pretty standard. And this is ECC DDR3. And you can see our gigabit Ethernet right here. So this is the Ethernet that I'm using. You can see how it's sending and all that, and that all works fantastic. And then here's our GPU, our R9 390. It's got our 8 gigabytes of GPU memory. It's currently encoding for Parsec, and we're using basically no CPU at all. 3%, and it's hovering at like 1 to 3%. Memory we're just using a little bit more of, but when you first install this and you have like nothing on it, it uses less than a gig of memory. Highly recommend Windows 10 Server. And then here's all the processes running. So let's take a deeper dive. So here's Server Manager, but I do not use it. You guys can, but for my purposes, for my reasons, I don't use it. And then here we got Parsec. So if we go to our host, we got hosting enabled, we got the host name, and then we got bandwidth limits. I'm just going to up this to 30. And then we get our input modes and all that, and it will capture the display. That's what I was talking about before. And I can send this off to people, ask for them to join. I got guest links. They can either log in here. It's very nice. So what I do with a server, that's a great question. So I'm going to do one of the things I normally do, and I host a web server. So if you guys are interested, let me down in the comments and I'll show you guys. So I'm going to have Apache up, and then I'm going to have MySQL up. And let's go to my website just to make sure it's all working. Alright, we got it up. So right here, this is a private hosting for Dyersville High School. This is Coach Iggy's class. This is all the kids and all that. And then these are public web apps that we have uploaded. So this is upload script. You just upload a file. It can be an HTML, PHP file, or anything like this. The folder's already there. You just click upload, and then you can like have your own website broadcast. So if I put in a index file, very simple. I can just pull anything right here, like index.php, and then I just go upload, and then I would just go tarv.live /public / and then just have a slash, and then since it's index, it'll go here. And this is just my main page, just without all the CSS and all that. It also hosts my personal page, so that is tarver.tk. So this is just a little bit about me and all that. It's just my portfolio and a little web page about me. So I host 2 websites on here, along with a couple of others. So if you guys are interested, just let me know. But besides that, I also host other things as well. So this is my Terraria. I'm going to just quickly start up the Terraria server, just so you guys can kind of get a feel of how much RAM and stuff that I use. And we're going to have 2,000 players, because I know my server can do it. Just press enter, Y. Okay, and now the Terraria server is loading up. So now let's go to our Minecraft server. So this is my Minecraft server. It's currently ran on Spigot. I'll use the bat file to start it up. Okay. It's just going to load its libraries, and server started for Terraria. It'll show me all the IPs that connect. I got my websites with an SSL certificate and all that, so they're all secure. These are loading good. This server is on 1.8.8, so if you're interested in joining, it is davemc.gamersarena.cf. I even have a Discord I can put down in the description. And that's the server. So since that's all up, I'm going to just send a Control-Alt-Delete command. Go to Task Manager, and under Performance, we're using a little bit more CPU, but not as much. And then we're using much more RAM, which is another reason why I want to update my RAM. And yeah, that's all that. So if you guys like the video, just let me know, and I'll be making more. And I hope you guys have a good one.